Like when you got into the team, was it Julio who got you in the team?
No, Roy Evans.
Was it Roy Evans?
Roy Evans, yeah.
How old was you?
18. So we won the Youth Cup in. So the season you beat Liverpool in the final. Cantona scores.
96.
So we all go to that game. We're the youth team then. So we won the Youth Cup against West Ham. We beat Lampard and Rio were playing in that team. So they were a good team, but we beat them 4-1 over the two legs. And I think the same for yous. I think now
that's a big thing for a young player, was it? The FAU Cup.
Yeah, massive.
Oh, you wouldn't have had that, would you?
Yeah.
No, of course not. No, but when I hear you all talking about it,
it's big over there. Yeah, it's big. Yeah.
But I think in those days, if you won the Youth Cup, your next step was the first team. I think now there's almost that under 23s, under 12, whatever. It feels like there's another 2 years you've got to do before you get in the first team. Whereas then it was like youth team, and if you won the Youth Cup, you've seen them win it. The Leeds team before, you always felt 2 or 3 players out of that team would play for the first team. So for us, it was me, little Tomo, and Michael Owen. We were the two that went through.
You're an Everton fan, and you go to Liverpool.
Was.
Yeah, no, you're an Everton fan. You're young again, sort of. You're in your childhood. You joined Liverpool's academy at what age?
9.
9. At what age do you start to feel that I'm no longer an Everton fan, I'm actually a Liverpool? What was that point whereby you think I'm a Liverpool fan?
Oh, I was in the Liverpool first team.
When you flipped from being an Everton fan to a Liverpool fan?
Yeah, I was still an Everton fan when I was playing the youth team.
What did your dad say about that once you...
This is a really funny story. So we win the Youth Cup, and the next season, it went to 5 subs. Remember, it went from like 3 subs to 5.
Yeah.
So we won the Youth Cup. First game of the season, Liverpool are playing away at Middlesbrough. And it's 5 subs. The day Ravanelli got a hat-trick on his debut, it was Liverpool. Yeah. So I'm on the bench with little Tomo. It was Alan Shearer's first game for Newcastle after the first game of the season. Yeah. But it was at Goodison. And Everton were winning 2-0 at half-time. So I'm out at half-time, warming up. And my dad's in this crowd, and I'm going, it's 2-0.
You played for Liverpool?
I'm sub for Liverpool. Do you know what I mean? So even my dad said after that, you can't be, this has got to sort of stop. But before that, to be honest, Ronnie Moran had pulled me and the youth team coaches do you remember when you were playing the Central League? And they always kick off at 7, didn't they?
Yeah. Reserve team league.
Yeah. Reserve team league. So kick off at 7. So we've played for Liverpool reserves away somewhere. So we're getting on the coach, and Everton are playing a replay against, I'm sure it was Stockport in the FA Cup. Joe Royal time. And Stockport score. So a lot of the bus goes up, the coaches, they go, get in. And then Everton score, and I went, get in. And then it was about, who the hell's that? You know what I mean? Ronnie Moran and, people like, because he used to always go and watch the reserve games. So even the youth team coaches pulled me, were a bit like, these think you're going to play for the first team. Fucking calm down. Basically a little bit.
Did Everton ever come in for you?
Yeah, I went to Everton for a year.
How old was you then?
About 12. They knew I was a massive fan, and they played on it. And my dad didn't want me to go, even though he was a massive Everton fan. Because Liverpool they were the best team. They won everything. It was the coach and everything. And it was I got there, and within like a month, when you've made a massive mistake, it was like, oh, what do we, just the coaches, the training, everything. And basically, we asked, could we go back about Christmas? But you always have to do 12. It was like a 12-month contract, wasn't it?
I said their excellence was it.
Yeah. So I did a year at Everton. They got like Cotty to sign me like shorts and all things to try and get me, and I knew straight away.
Having got to know you, you are like stubborn, you're steadfast, you're not going to be changed easily. If someone says to you, do something, you're not going to do it. I'm surprised that at 18, when say Ronnie Moran or someone comes to you from Liverpool and says, look, calm it down, or look, you can't. I understand you can't celebrate on the Liverpool coach. I mean, that's a bit stupid, isn't it? But what I can think is that you'd say, no, I'm not, but I'm always an Everton fan, but you actually have turned to be a Liverpool fan.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean by that?
Yeah, but there's no way you could possibly be. How could I still be an Everton fan if I was playing for Liverpool? And then, and then what Liverpool's done for me and my life and my family, the trips, the memories, how can I not be a Liverpool fan? And my family, I mean,
but
the
how can you
people
Everton in the first place? Was that passed on from family?
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
obviously your dad, but he must have been.
Yeah, and massive. Yeah. Like, we went home and away. We went. My middle name's Lee Duncan. Gordon Lee was the Everton manager in 1978, and Duncan McKenzie was Everton's best player. So that's what my name was.
So you see, when you won the youth, what position was you playing when you won the Youth Cup?
Centre midfield.
Right.
Yeah, I was a striker as a kid. and just went further back.
Carol, like being a one club man, has there ever been a time where have you ever been close to leaving Liverpool? Has there ever been clubs coming in for you?
No. I was never involved in like a transfer thing that went on. You know, when I hear maybe yourself, you probably more than anyone, you're speaking to another manager and there's a club involved and you're dealing with the chairman and your agents and money and signing on fees. All these stories, never involved in any of them. And the good thing to come from it means I never have to do transfer deadline day with Sky. I just say, what am I going to offer you? I've got nothing to say on this matter. Get me out of this. I don't think anyone put a bid in for me that I was ever aware of or anything came close to moving. I was never good enough to move above Liverpool. There's not many teams that are better than Liverpool. Players leave Liverpool to go to Real Madrid or Barcelona, basically. That's about it. And a few other, maybe a couple of other clubs, but I was never good enough to do that. So if I was leaving Liverpool, it was always going to be a case of me dropping down towards the end of my career or whether I couldn't get in the team. So when it got to the stage of the end of my career, last couple of years where I was a little bit in and out, I was never going to leave then just to go and play for, I don't know, Blackburn or someone or some, you know, a mid-table team in the Premier League at that time. So I was always determined to be a one-club man because I knew that was the best I could do.
Was there a tipping point where you were like, I've got an opportunity here to be a one-club man?
I used to just think I've got to play 50 games every season. That was just the first thing in my head. First game of the season, I didn't ever think about I wouldn't be playing. I'd just be like, I am playing and I'm playing 50 games. And I think I did that 9 times in 10 years. And the one year I didn't do it, I broke my leg and I played 25. So it was always my thing to play. Like Liverpool got 38 league games, Champions League, few cups, because Rafa used to, or Ulia used to always play me in the cup games. A few players would drop out, but I always played. So, yeah, it was always a thing for me to play 50 games.
50 games. Have footballers lost that mentality, do you think? The want to do that? An expectation that you should do that?
I think a little bit, because I think the game is just continually growing as a squad game because you just see how many subs it involved. It just grows and grows. And I think, what are we up to now? 7? I think we're up to 7 and there's 5 subs coming on. We'll get to 9. You know, it'll end up being like what it is with a World Cup, and there's like 11 players are still stripped on the bench. And but I think, listen, I think if you had sort of my mentality right now, you're probably banging your head against the brick wall because you're not maybe going to do that because the squads are so big, because there's so many changes now, and that's just the way it is. But that was just my thing to, no one could take me place, no one was going to get in the team ahead of me. And I wasn't going to get injured, basically.
You both mentioned the word mentality there. Like we've talked about it on this pod, and I've heard you talk about it on another pod actually. But when I arrived at Liverpool, that was, for me, it felt like, obviously I'd gone up a different level. I'd come from Southampton to Liverpool, and already it was a different level to what I was used to. And it was only then when I got to play for Liverpool and play for England that I saw the mentality of elite players. And I class you, Stevie, in that bracket, and then with England, John Terry, Frank Lampard, Rio Ferdinand, Wayne Rooney, elite players. I felt like the mentality, and I've said it before, that I felt like you didn't enjoy it almost sometimes. For me, I still had the same, mentality to be where you were, but I enjoyed wins. Yeah. Whereas I felt like you didn't.
Yeah,
is that right to say or not?
Yeah, no, I think you're right. I mean, a big win, something really significant, of course you would. But it almost just felt like you're on this treadmill of like, we've got another game. And a lot of my wins, or not my wins, the team's wins were almost like a relief that you hadn't lost. And I was like, right, we've got to go again. Because I think when you play for a team like Liverpool or United, City, like look at Man City right now. No matter how well they've done all season, Arsenal are the same right now. Unless you do it right at the end, you don't end up with anything. So even when you're winning in August, September, October, it means it's putting you in a position to win at the end. So when I think of like winning a game in the middle of October and thinking, oh God, we've had a great win, it's brilliant, amazing. It's a bit like, no, it's what goes on in May, really. That's when you're going to decide whether you've had a good season or not. So it's almost like this constant build up to then. And that's what it felt to me like a lot with Liverpool. It was, I can remember nights out and big Champions League semi-finals that we played, because you're nearly there, you're getting really close. But throughout the season, it just felt like, right, the next one. But I think you're right. I don't think I did enjoy it enough.
What I was meaning by that is, like, straight after the win, it felt like you were already thinking about the next game. And I was like, I'll enjoy this one and I'll think about that. I'll think about that one tomorrow.
Yeah, it was. And
Which is a commendable, quality to have.
Yeah. Well, if I go through when I was a kid, I went to the national school as a centre forward, and it was a different way of playing than what I've been used to at Liverpool. It was a lot more direct, and I don't mean that in terms of just smashing the ball long, but it was a case of basically get the ball into the striker as quick as you can. And I was a striker, and at that time, I mean, I wouldn't say modern games, the wrong thing to say, but a player was Teddy Sheringham, who was brilliant at holding the ball up, and that was a big thing at the national school, to be able to hold the ball up. And we used to have a thing where we could receive side on, not just, with your back to the defender, because sometimes he can jump in front of you. And it was actually trying to get side on. So it was a bigger part of basically your full bodies between the defender and the ball. I think Sheringham was really good at that. And we used to get spoken a lot by the coach, the late, great Keith Blunt, who was at the national school. And a lot of that was working on that day in, day out. And they used to use him as a reference as well, because I think Keith had been the youth coach at Tottenham as well, really. So I think he had links to the club. And I think it was the early 90s. I think Sheringham had possibly just moved from Notts Forest to Tottenham at the time. And so he was someone we used to watch a lot, because that's the way we used to play the game, really. I think going central midfield, and when I started at Liverpool, getting into the first team, really, I could only say I've looked at players who I was playing around, really. And you think of John Barnes was central midfield playing, then Jamie Redknapp, Michael Thomas. They were the ones I was trying to basically emulating and get into the team. Centre-back wise, I mean, I used to watch a lot of videos of Baresi, and for me, he's the best ever. And the reason he's the best ever is because he doesn't have physical attributes. He wasn't 6'4", he wasn't, massive frame like a Sol Campbell. He was lightning quick. But the thing about him was he was the cleverest player on the pitch with his brain. And that's what I needed to be. Not the cleverest, I was never at that level, but to try and be as switched on as I could between my ears, really, in terms of, reading the game, being focused, and that gave me an opportunity to compete with Rio Ferdinand, John Terry, Sol Campbell, Ledley King, because they were all born with physical attributes I didn't have, and were natural centre-backs, if you like, really, when I possibly wasn't, in that I was just under 6 foot, wasn't the quickest, wasn't the most powerful, really. So I always had to be really switched on in my brain. So that's why Benitez used to give us a lot of videos on Baresi and organisation and feet positions, and basically always being ready to play.
Did you, Jamie, I know it's a well-known story that you started as a centre-forward and then eventually midfield and then back into defence, right-back, centre-back. But because I've only ever seen you play as a centre-back or a right-back, I just can't imagine you as a striker, because you're an organiser and a talker, and we see you like that. What were you like as a centre-forward? Who were you like?
Well, I can assure you, I was still telling people what to do from centre-forward. But basically, I started off as a number 9. I joined Liverpool at 9 years of age, and I was the best striker in the city, if you like. You don't really know any other players around.
What was your forte? Outside of the box? Were you a fox in the box?
No, well, I was a number 9.
Goal scorer.
I was quick. Yeah, I used to break all the records, goal scoring wise, and I was quick, very quick for my age. What happened to me was my centre forward days actually evolved, where I became a little bit deeper and linking the play up, because when I got to 13 or 14 and we started going for the trials for Lilleshall, and that's when you really open your eyes up and you start to see who the best players are in the country. As I said, I'm just at Liverpool as a kid. I'm rated maybe possibly the best player in the city. But then you start, players from London, the North East, the Midlands. And I was a late developer when you sort of get to 13 or 14. A lot of lads are starting to shave and different things, and getting a lot more powerful and strong. And I was, as I said, a late developer, and I couldn't run in behind someone. I didn't have the pace or the strength to compete with lads who are 14 or 15 and almost not far off men. Some of them. Was he the best player you played with?
By far.
It's not even close, is it? It makes me laugh, and people think I don't like Frank Lampard or I don't like Paul Scholes. When this debate comes up, I'm going, they were amazing players, but it's not even a debate. It's not close. It's not, is it?
No, I agree. It's the best. When we trained with England, he was by far the best player in training every day.
I mean, I tell you what kills the debate. Alex Ferguson tried to sign him, and so did Jose Mourinho. And they had Scholes and Lampard. Yeah. You know what I mean? It's the end of it, isn't it?
Good point. It's a very good point.
It's difficult because you feel like you're putting them down as players. Like
Yeah, they were
Lampard and
great
Scholes,
players.
incredible players. But Gerrard for me was the best.
Did you ever get the stare off him?
Yeah,
I know, yeah.
We've talked about that many times. Haven't we? But I said about so when I signed for Liverpool, I was more busy impressing you and Stevie than I was Rafa. Yeah, and that's
Didn't fucking work.
Jamie, what was did it feel like a sort of double act or?
Probably a little bit. Stevie, I mean, to be fair, I'm not shy. You know that in terms of being on the pitch, but he's the one person I don't think I've ever had to go at on the pitch. If I'd lose my head on the pitch, wouldn't I, with different things? But if it's Stevie, it's Stevie, isn't it? What can you say?